Hey everyone, so we're back, still in quarantine, and but so far we're healthy. Hopefully you are too, especially if you have to go to work. We're lucky that we don't have to. We live in the best community where they are always checking on each other. I swear I've been on the phone more in the last 3 weeks than I was in 30 years of working, but this is better than the working. These people are checking on us, we're checking on people. It's been wonderful. Hopefully you are being checked on too. So to continue where we've talked about before, a little bit more about emergency preparedness, but just a few other things to discuss. One of the things that we were always taught is you have a 72-hour emergency kit, something that you can pick up, usually in a backpack that you could throw on and take if you had to evacuate your home immediately. Kind of like what mothers do, expecting mothers when they get the hospital bag ready to go. Once that hits, you have to be on your way, whether it's flood, fires. The people who live in wildfire country know that you're often not given much notice to get out, maybe an hour. So if you have a 72-hour emergency kit, maybe have a change of clothes in there, a pair of good jogging shoes, walking shoes, whatever the case is, hiking shoes, get some protein bars, some water bottles. Obviously you don't want it to be too heavy or you won't be able to carry it, but matches, a flashlight, batteries, fruit snacks, beef jerky, nuts in single packs, things you can carry that you would be able to get out quick. Sample of toiletries, some soap, things like that you would be able to grab and run. And if you have kids, you might want to have a deck of cards or some dice, something that you could make faux games up with that would keep them entertained while you're out wherever it is, a shelter or whatever the case is. Things like that, whatever works for you. But these things would go into a backpack or a carry bag that you could grab and go. So that's one thing. Some other things, and this would probably get overwhelming if I read this entire list, but as we were going through and then thinking of all the things that we would stock up on, and that's what this whole pandemic thing has done for us too, is to kind of examine where we were. We are in really good shape for the two of us because we were taught to be prepared, but there are areas we need to do better. Who knew toilet paper was such a big deal? And we actually stay ahead on that, and paper towels too, but my goodness, I had no idea it would be off the shelf in a week and that we would be scouring around looking for it. So obviously you'd want things like that. Another thing to think of is, even though I know these aren't environmentally safe, if you're on a water shortage or water rationing or don't have water, what are you going to eat off of? It might be a good idea to keep some paper plates and some plastic utensils just for emergencies. If you want to be careful with the environment, we are too, but that's still something you got to consider in an emergency. Things that are easy to open: get pop-top vegetables, canned vegetables, things that you would have to eat if you had no way to cook them. You could actually eat green beans out of a can, and they wouldn't be warmed up, but you could if you have the pop-top, or if you happen to have a non-electrical can opener, then you could do that too. How come I can't think of words? But I guess that described it. But just things to even if you don't have a power outage, just things you need: Q-tips, cotton balls, soap, your detergents, dish soap. You'd need matches, candles. We've talked about that before. What vitamins and supplements do you take? Do you need to order some more of those? And of course, be careful of expiration dates. Disposable razors for men and women, and shampoo, pet food. Don't forget your pets if you have pets. Extra water, if in case again your water's being rationed out or for some reason you can't get it. Nut butters are good to have on hand for protein. If you can't cook, what are you going to use for protein? Nut butters, nuts, beef jerky. Keep around your granola bars. Now we really, because we're so health-minded, I guess, we use the RX bars. They are completely natural and we love them, but they must be an acquired taste because other people don't, but we love them, and we went ahead and got a whole bunch more. We ordered them from Amazon, from Walmart.com, and we got a ton of them, so that would be something that could last for quite a while as well. What kind of things are you going to have on hand? Baking things. Your baking soda, we talked about that before, is good for cleaning, good for brushing your teeth. It'll clean your teeth up too. Vinegar, it's probably a good idea to have a hand can opener on in your supplies. How about a lice removal kit? If you're in a shelter, can you swear you won't get lice from anything there, even if they're cleaning up? Or your kids will bring it home. Chewing gum, hard candy, things like that for the kids, for you. If you don't have a lot of rations or food, you need something to keep your mouth going. I chew gum because I just need something to keep my mouth entertained. So I do that. How about wood? If you have a fireplace or a wood stove, boxed crackers, other kinds of snacks. Anyways, antibacterial sanitizers, which are flying off the shelf, and wipes, things like that. Even a washboard, believe it or not. If you couldn't wash your clothes in a washing machine, a washboard would certainly get the job done. It wouldn't be fun, but you could do it. So those are some things to just keep in mind. And then there's just one other area too of preparedness I want to touch on, and that is, how's your health? The one thing I always think about, and I thought about when I was extremely obese, especially if I were in this house in this town or anywhere. We're remote. We're 5 miles away from the nearest freeway. But if I had to walk out of here, even if I'd been in the city where we lived before and I had to walk out of there or walk anywhere, if the wildfire is taking your car, are you going to be able to walk out? Or, that's what I would tell myself. Am I going to be part of the problem or part of the solution? Am I going to be able to help people, or am I going to have to be helped? And I did not want to be that person, because every community has elderly people who, through no fault of their own, or people with diseases, MS, things like that, that through no fault of their own, they need help. I want to be a helper, not somebody who needs help and I'm taking away from those who could have been being helped, but because I didn't take care of myself, I now have to be helped. So that was, just take care of your health. Are you going to be able to walk out of your community? Are you going to be able to be part of the solution and help others? Or are you going to need help? And you can only do what you can do. If you have diseases, you have other things that are beyond your control, then they're beyond your control. You only manage them to the best of your ability. But where you can do better, maybe it's time to consider that, considering everything that's going on. And just with this pandemic, they don't know enough about it, and I don't either. But I don't know if you have a compromised immune system for any reason. Is there anything that you can do to make it better? That's up to you to find out. But if you can eat better, then eat better. And I'm not being bossy, I'm just advising. So some things we do. I think we've told you before that we've spent a lot of years, still do, studying health and nutrition. Now, I can't recommend or not recommend these books. I don't read them from front, cover to cover, but we do thumb through them as we have questions. So, for instance, we have a nutrition almanac: fight disease, boost immunity, and slow the effects of aging. We have a prescription for natural cures, because the first thing I do, and Sandy does too, is when we have a problem, we go for the natural cures. I still have a gallbladder 10 years later, even though I was told I would end up in surgery in the emergency room if I didn't get it out because I had stones. I handled it myself because I refuse to go have surgery if I absolutely don't need it. Now, if it goes cancerous or if it gets painful and I can't do it, then that's another story. I'll go get it removed. But we believe in natural cures. We have Encyclopedia of Natural Medicine, and we have the inflammation syndrome. And I actually have started reading this one from cover to cover. Inflammation is the #1 cause of just about every disease. It's part of your autoimmune diseases. It's part of, it actually is the #1 cause of cancer. It's how cancer gets started. It's inflammation, and we can control a lot of inflammation by the foods we eat, because most of the foods you eat now that you buy off the shelves are crackers, candies, all the mixes, cake mixes, pancake mixes, are not complete food. And those preservatives and the GMOs they put in them cause inflammation, which then cause most of the diseases that we're seeing now. Your best bet is to shop around the perimeter of the store through the produce and And the natural things that you can get is the aisles that'll kill you, because those have all the box foods, your boxed macaroni. And of course, I love all that stuff. I love boxed Kraft macaroni and cheese. I could eat that, throw in some hamburger and some other stuff, and that's a great meal all by itself. But I don't do that anymore. At any rate, just taking care of yourself is also part of your self-reliance, so that you can make sure that you're healthy through the pandemics, that you've made yourself as healthy as possible so that you're not susceptible to disease, or if you are, maybe you'll come out of it sooner or faster, or not, you won't be hit as bad as some people where you're on a ventilator. You know, all you can do is what you can do. You can try. But I also know that these times when we're all quarantined at home, and we're having to get to know our families again and realize that we're fighting more. In fact, a friend of mine texted me the other day. She says, I told my family that I need to find new people to fight with because they're all quarantined in their home together. So anyways, it's just it would probably make you, well, if I were a drinker, I'd probably be an alcoholic. Not with Sandy, we're fine. We are used to each other. But if I just sit around all day, that's what I want to do is eat. Fortunately, I don't drink alcohol at all ever. So otherwise, the way I eat, because I overeat and have food problems for sure, I'd probably be an alcoholic too. But that's what, you know, sitting home, homeschooling your kids, not going to work, watching Netflix over and over, you're probably wanting to binge and do things like that. So do I. But our health is important, and we're part of the solution, not part of the problem. If it ever comes down to we have to get out of here, or even in this situation, I don't want to be sick so that somebody has to come and get me out of here, you know, take me to the hospital because I hurt myself. I didn't take care of myself. Well, if I hurt myself, I've done that before. I don't need to be eating poorly to have that happen. But you know, we don't want to take health services away from people who are desperately in need of it because I made a bad choice. I don't want to do that. So that's part of our self-reliance, is to make sure our health is in a good place to do the best we can. That's all you can do. You can't help the diseases that came on to you naturally, but you can certainly do all you can to eat healthy and to exercise. Sandy and I still get our 10,000 steps in every day. We do it in the house. Anyways, those are our tips today, just really quick. There's so much more we could say about being prepared, but just things to think about. What have you noticed while you've been home that you wished you had, or that you weren't stocked up on because it never occurred to you to be stocked up? And you don't want to be a hoarder. I'm not even suggesting that. And I know a lot of people are really upset that other people are hoarding, and that's not right either. We don't want to take away from people, but you still need to be prepared. And as you've watched your supplies dwindle, what have you noticed that you would really be sorry if it were gone, or if it's going to go fast? What have you used more than you ever thought you were going to use? So just things to think about. And hopefully everybody's safe and healthy, and we will get back to normal soon, whatever normal means after this is all done. And so have a great day.